What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. For all you new viewers out there, I'm Daniel, and I'm super stoked to have you here. Today, we're diving deep into two games I absolutely love, chess and poker. We're talking pro-level strategies, the kind of stuff that separates the grandmasters from the amateurs. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content. Alright, let's jump right into it. Alright, let's kick things off with chess openings. This is where your game truly begins, and it's essential to get it right. Now, I cannot overstate how crucial the opening is in chess. It's the first impression you make on the board. It's like laying the foundation for a skyscraper, a shaky start, and the whole thing could come crumbling down. A strong foundation sets you up for success. You need a solid opening repertoire, guys. This means having a set of reliable openings that you are comfortable with. Don't just memorize random moves. Instead, focus on understanding the principles behind them. Understand the why behind each move. This will help you adapt and respond to your opponent's strategies. What are you trying to control? The center of the board is often key. What kind of pawn structure are you aiming for? Your pawns can dictate the flow of the game. Are you developing your pieces towards the center or preparing for a kingside attack? Each move should have a purpose. One of my personal favorite openings is the Sicilian Defense Dragon variation. It's a dynamic and flexible choice. It's incredibly sharp and aggressive, perfect for players who like to take control early. Another solid choice is the Italian game, especially the gioco piano, which translates to quiet game. It's a classic for a reason. Don't let the name fool you. Things can get pretty spicy quickly. It offers a lot of tactical opportunities. Remember, the best opening for you depends on your style of play. Are you aggressive, defensive, or somewhere in between? Experiment, try different things, and see what gives your opponents headaches. The more you explore, the better you'll understand what works for you. Okay, so you've survived the opening. You didn't blunder any pieces and your king isn't already getting checkmated. Congrats! Now the real fun begins. The middle game. This is where things get really tactical. You need to be calculating lines, evaluating positions, and trying to outmaneuver your opponent. Think of it like a game of mental judo. Look for tactics like forks, pins, skewers, and discovered attacks. These can turn the tide of a game in an instant. Always be thinking a few moves ahead. One wrong move and your advantage can disappear faster than you can say en passant. Okay, the endgame. This is where the true chess masters shine. The board is simplified, there are fewer pieces, and every move matters even more. Now, endgame principles are a little different from the middle game. Suddenly, those pawns you've been ignoring all game become absolute beasts. King activity becomes paramount. One of the most important principles to remember is the concept of opposition. This is when your king can force its way into a critical square that your opponent's king can't occupy at the same time. Another key principle is knowing when and how to promote your pawns. Study the basic principles, practice your endgame techniques, and you'll be surprised at how quickly you improve. Endgames can be incredibly complex, but don't let that intimidate you. Alright, let's talk about some common mistakes that I see players of all levels make. These are the blunders, the oversights, the "oh no, what have I done?" moments that can cost you the game. First up, falling for traps. Chess is full of them, from the classic scholar's mate to more complex traps in the middle game. Always be alert, and don't just blindly follow opening principles without thinking for yourself. Another common mistake is neglecting king safety. Remember, your king is your most valuable piece. Keep it protected, especially in the opening and early middle game. Don't underestimate the power of pawn structure. Weak pawns can be a real liability, while strong pawns can control key squares and restrict your opponent's pieces. Take your time, analyze the position, and consider all your options before you make a move. Alright guys, let's shift gears and talk about poker. And we're starting with the absolute foundation hand selection. In poker, especially in Texas Hold'em, you can't win if you play every hand. You need to be selective, patient, and only play the hands that give you the best chance of winning. Think of it like this: you're a sniper, not a machine gunner. You're waiting for that perfect shot, that premium hand that lets you take down the pot. So, what are those premium hands? Well, you've got your pocket aces, kings, queens, and ace-king. These are the monsters, the hands you want to be going all in with pre-flop. Then, you've got your strong hands like ace-queen, ace-jack, king-queen, and suited connectors like jack-10 or 10-9. These hands have potential, but you need to be careful with them. Be extremely cautious and aware of your position. Okay, so you've got a decent hand. Great! But before you start splashing chips around like a maniac, let's talk about table position. This is one of the most crucial concepts in poker, and it can make or break your game. In simple terms, table position refers to your seating position in relation to the dealer button. The later your position, the better. Why? Because you get to see what everyone else does before you have to make a decision. If you're in late position, like the cutoff or the button, you have the ultimate advantage. You've seen how everyone else has acted, so you can make a more informed decision about your hand. On the other hand, if you're in early position, like under the gun, you're playing blind. You have no information about what the other players are going to do. Remember, position is power in poker. Use it to your advantage. Alright, let's talk about bluffing. This is the sexy part of poker, the stuff you see in the movies, the dramatic moments that make your heart race. But let me tell you, bluffing is not about randomly throwing chips in and hoping for the best. It's much more strategic than that. It's a calculated risk, an art form that requires observation, timing, and a healthy dose of guts. You need to be aware of every move at the table. First and foremost, you can't bluff just anyone. Some players are more perceptive than others. You need to be able to read your opponents, pick up on their tells, and figure out if they're likely to believe your story. Second, timing is everything. Knowing when to bluff is crucial. A well-timed bluff can win you a huge pot, while a poorly timed one can leave you with an empty stack. Timing can make or break your game. And finally, you need to be believable. Your story has to make sense. Your betting patterns, your body language, everything needs to align with the story you're trying to tell. Consistency is key. If you're not convincing, your opponents will see right through you. They'll call your bluff and you'll be left with nothing. Bluffing is a high-risk, high-reward play. It can be thrilling, but also devastating. Use it sparingly, and only when you're confident you can pull it off. Remember, in poker, every move counts. Alright, let's dive into the psychological warfare that is reading your opponents. This is an essential skill that separates the amateurs from the pros. This is where poker goes from a game of cards to a game of people. It's not just about the hand you're dealt, but how you play the people around you. You're trying to get inside their heads, figure out their thought processes, and exploit their weaknesses. This requires keen observation and a deep understanding of human nature. Pay attention to their betting patterns. These patterns can reveal a lot about their strategy and the strength of their hand. Are they loose and aggressive? Tight and passive? Each style has its own set of tells and strategies. Do they bet big when they have a strong hand, or do they try to trap you? Look for physical tells. These can be subtle but very revealing. These are the unconscious gestures and mannerisms that can give away their hand strength. Are they fidgeting nervously? This could indicate a weak hand or a bluff. Are they staring you down? This might be an attempt to intimidate or to hide their own uncertainty. Are they trying to hide their excitement? A sudden change in demeanor can be a strong indicator of a good hand. The key is to identify these tells and use that information to your advantage. This can turn the tide of the game in your favor. The best way to become a good reader of people is to simply observe and play as much poker as possible. Experience is the best teacher. The more you play, the better you'll become at understanding the nuances of human behavior. Over time, you'll develop an instinct for reading your opponents and making the right moves. Okay, this next topic might not be as glamorous as bluffing or reading tells, but trust me, it's just as important: bankroll management. This is all about managing your money wisely and making sure you don't go broke chasing losses. First and foremost, you need to have a dedicated bankroll. This is the money you've set aside specifically for poker, and you should never play with money you can't afford to lose. Second, you need to choose the right stakes for your bankroll. Don't sit down at a 10-20 table if you only have a $100 bankroll. That's just asking for trouble. Third, avoid chasing losses. We've all been there. You're down a few buy-ins and you're desperate to win it back. But trust me, chasing losses will only lead to more losses. Alright guys, we've covered a lot of ground today, from chess openings to poker bankroll management. But if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this. Mastery in both chess and poker requires practice and patience. You're not going to become a grandmaster overnight. It takes time, dedication, and a willingness to learn from your mistakes. Study the games, analyze your own play, and never be afraid to ask for help from stronger players. The more you put in, the more you'll get out. And remember, have fun. Chess and poker are both incredibly rewarding games. That's all for today, guys. I hope you found these tips helpful. If you did, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and let me know your favorite tip in the comments below. And hey, while you're down there, tell me what else you'd like to see on the channel. I am always looking for new ideas and challenges. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future chess and poker content. Until next time, keep those minds sharp and those bets calculated. Peace out.